As we have finished the basics of routing in the last video, we could now easily push our code, first commit it and then push it to a branch which is called routing. So we could get checkout auto routing. Here we could name this commit add routing and then push. This could act as a checkpoint, so you could go to this branch to check out and see what are the changes, and you could visit other branches in other time. Okay, so right now we need to have our first form. So we could start with the sign up form. We have here a route called sign up. We need right here to include a form. Okay, let us rest the case that using forms validation outside of a library that would help us would make things so difficult. So for a form to be interactive with the user, it needs to have some functionality and some validation, as we could show you right now. So let us check this app, for example. Right now, if you've just typed any letter, there is something that validates what you have typed in. So using or writing this logic by yourself would be completely difficult and would have a lot of replication code. So that's why we could use a library that would help us. So my library of preference is called Formik. So we could npm install Formik. If you need to get more information about Formik, you could simply go visit Formik GitHub and check their documentation. Having Formik forms is usually could be done through several ways, more than one way. Okay, so we could stick with one way in our tutorials, but I need you to know that there is more than one way. So one of the ways is to have an inner form. Let's have this inner form. We could just have a folder called forms and start with sign up for. I think this should be a folder. And add an inner form. Like this way. And we could for sure export inner form. Okay. In this component, we do not need to use this with Formik from the Formik library, so we could just emit it out. In addition of an inner form, we need to have something called enhanced sign up form, for example, which will hold the with Formik higher order component. If you do not understand what is higher order component, do not panic. You will understand it with time and you could search for it. But what we will do right now is an example of a higher order component. So let's just take this code, copy paste from here, and try it. So we need to import this. So we could say, we could just copy paste it from here, import with Formik, and export this thing. Okay, for sure we do not have this function that is being used, but instead we could actually console log anything here, and we need to import this inner form, the one that we've just written. Okay, just to test this thing, we need to export this component inside another component, which could be this one, as just shown in this example. So what we could do is go into the sign up form or the sign up route and add here enhance